advice I have for procrastinators, because I was shy once. When I was 17, 18, I was shy. It wasn't so much with business networking because I didn't know anybody important, but I was shy to go up and talk to girls and stuff. And without the internet and without dating apps and all the little cheat codes that shy people use and men use now, they're crutches that people lean on, I just understood I'm not going to ever get laid if I don't go up and talk to that girl. So the advice I have for people who are too shy to put yourselves out there, too shy to approach women, too shy to, try to, pitch a business deal to somebody important, then good, have fun staying poor and lonely. Because it's especially when you're young, it's not easy. And it does take some balls, but just go and do it anyway. The worst that people can do is say no. That was something in my mind, actually. People used to tell me that. Go talk to the girl. The worst you can do is say no. And that was it. Sometimes they'd say no. And that's the way it is.
And the what if will kill you afterwards.
The what if will kill you. The what if will absolutely
pussied out.
So yeah, and if you never are going to learn those skills and you're never going to take a shot in the dark, then good. Have fun staying poor and have fun staying lonely and have fun with your Pornhub subscription. And also, don't be retarded. Like, some people think I'll say this, and some people are so retarded they'll come up to me with like papers and be like, "Yeah, you said people didn't take the initiative. Here's my business proposal." But I'm like, just leave me alone. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, just if you don't have confidence, fake confidence. Confidence is the one thing you can fake, and people believe you have it. If you I'm shy, go talk to the girl. Okay. If you actually walk up and talk to her, then you're not shy. You've spoken your confidence into existence. So yeah, and a lot of people won't ever do that, and I have no help for them. What could I possibly tell them that's going to fix them? Nothing. But you're going to be lonely and you're going to be broke if you stay that way.
You have to almost look in the mirror and just tell yourself that you are the man.
Yeah.
And you have to believe you are the person that you want to be.
Absolutely.
And just by thinking that, then you feel as though whatever situation you're in, you're supposed to be in the situation.
The person I want to be wakes up at 7 and he trains for 2 hours. The person I want to be wouldn't let that pretty girl walk past him without introducing himself and saying hello. The person I want, so okay, good. So you're going to wake up and lay in bed and then not talk to the pretty girl. Then you'll never be the person you want to be. Simple.
Listen to me very carefully, because it's going to sound like something stupid, but this is actually true. Your hands are controlled by your brain. If you can't stop fucking drinking, jerking off, watching porn, and typing Pornhub into your little keyboard, that is nobody's fault but yours. There's no such thing as weak will. Your hands are controlled by your brain. Use your brain and control your fucking hands.
For men, I think pornography and masturbation are one of the worst habits that there are, because look, it's I'm a very ambitious guy. I don't do either of those things. I know you're going to say, "Oh, I've never met a man who said that." I don't do either of those things, but I basically fuck every night, so I don't really need to. But it's a very bad habit for men because it does two things. One, it takes their energy and their hunger and their desire away from actually being nice enough to women to get women to sleep with them. So if you can watch anything you want and jerk off at your computer every single day, you're not gonna buy flowers and take a woman out on a romantic date. It puts weird, it sets men up psychologically in a very strange way, where they don't have realistic expectations from sex and from women. And you have this whole community of people who call them incels, involuntarily celibates. One of the fallouts from my industry that's leaked its way into the real world, and I feel very guilty for, and this is a very basic example when I say pornography teaches men the wrong way of dealing with women, is the unsolicited dick picture. Now, that comes from a world my world where I have all these models broadcasting online, guys get their dick out on camera or show their dick in a picture or text girls their dick, Snapchat girls their dick, whatever it is. And the girls who work for me always reply positively. "Oh, wow, that's hot," because they're getting paid money. They're getting paid $5 a minute to listen to these idiots.
Yeah.
So it programs these guys' minds where they'll see, and I'm sure you get it, they'll see your Instagram and they'll think, "Oh my God, she's hot. How can I impress her?" I know. Snap. Like, no woman wants to see that. No woman wants it. Like, the girls literally get the pictures and they type, "Oh, that's hot," and they'll be like literally.
Yeah.
I don't watch porn because, one, I don't need to, and two, I produce adult content. That's my business. So I'm like a cocaine dealer who sees all the negative effects his cocaine does to other people and doesn't sniff the cocaine himself. So it was really my business decisions that led me away from ever consuming this kind of product. But I do think it is a red flag if you have a boyfriend and you are sexually active, especially if you live with him or live close to him, for him to be watching porn. I really do think that it's damaging to a relationship. But live chat websites are a red flag you should absolutely walk away from immediately, because you don't know what goes on there. I do. It's not just paying the girl to see her naked. It really isn't. It's a lot of emotional attachment. If they want naked women, they can Google images of naked women any time of any day. It's the interaction that they're paying for, and they're paying a lot of money for it. I'm a very wealthy man. All of my money came from this industry. And it's not old men. It's not old creepy guys on the internet. It's men who you know, men who you've dated, men who you work with. Believe me, it is an absolutely massive industry. It's why that guy on Your News, which news channel in the States, where that guy, he ended a Zoom meeting and then started dropping his pants and getting his dick out very recently. And you just used the sentence. The sentence you just used was, I'd rather him do it and I know about it than for him to do it behind my back and to live in a fantasy land. So does that apply only to guys watching porn and jerking off on the internet, which I think is lame? Or does that apply to something he's doing in the real world? Does that apply to him, I don't know, let's say not cheating, but he's out with his friends, there are some pretty girls, his friends are single, going and hanging out with women he doesn't know, trying to help his friends out, being a wingman. Well, it's not about worried. I have had wonderful girlfriends in the past who I trust very much. I do not allow my girlfriends to have guy friends. I don't allow them to. And they have to choose if they want to be with me or if they want to keep their guy friends. And that's a line that I draw. Well, you have to understand, there is no platonic friendship in a man's mind with an attractive woman. You may think there is. So you may, and this is an experiment I've pulled with, so I encourage you to do the same if you ever feel brave enough and you feel like losing some of your guy friends. It's an experiment that I pulled with many girls. I said, oh, this guy, no, I've known him since I was 15. He's like my brother. I said, no, he's not like your brother. To you, he's like a brother. Give him this much opportunity and he will jump at it. And they're like, no, I mean, you know this. But younger girls, they don't know this. They're young and naive. They're like, no, really, he doesn't like me. He has a girlfriend, actually, as if that justifies it. And I should let her hang out with this dude. So I say, okay, let me send him one message from your phone. Just one. And I said the typical, Tristan's been treating me badly and you're the guy who's always been there for me. Do you ever have some kind of interest? And it's always, oh my God, I love you. I was waiting for this message. And then they can't talk to him anymore. So I don't let them have guy friends because I would if the guy was actually their friend. So if a girlfriend of mine has a gay friend, cool, go out with your gay friend. He doesn't want it. He's not going to try to fuck him. That's cool. Yeah, that's a guy friend because he's actually your friend. There's no such thing as guy friends. Don't even pretend that you don't know this because I saw you smiling when I was saying it. You give this much opportunity to any of your guy friends. The sad fact of the world that we live in is not everybody plays by the rules of society. And the fact of the matter is, a friend is somebody you can trust. I can trust my friends. If I'm out with my friends and one of my friends, say, gets too fucked up drunk, I'll carry his dumb ass home. I'll shout at him the next morning. But I mean, we don't really do that. Well, when I was younger, we used to get fucked up drunk, I guess. Yeah. A friend is someone you could trust. Can you get blackout drunk at your guy friend's house and pass out? I mean, you should be able to, but he's not really your friend if you can't trust him. So you shouldn't get yourself, you can't put yourself into any situation with somebody you can't trust. And that's why I don't allow girlfriends of mine to have guy friends. So I know in America, to American women, it sounds strange, but my logic at least is solid. You can't fault my logic. To be perfectly honest, I am never, ever wholly, fully single. I don't think many people in the world are, if you ask them the question. There are women who you'll meet and they'll say, yeah, I'm single, but they're still meeting up with their ex-boyfriend, or, they have a guy who they're sleeping with, they have a friend with benefits, or whatever you want to call them. I don't think very many people are ever truly, truly single when they say that they are. So I'm to be honest, I haven't been single since I was 17, 18 in terms of without female companionship if I wanted. I don't have a serious girlfriend, I guess, like I've had in the past, but I'm single enough. It depends. Are you asking? Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. And I'm very capable of commitment, but I'm going to warn you about something. I'm going to warn you about the most dangerous type of man out there. And I guess I shouldn't really be saying this because girls I know are probably going to see this, and that's just the way it is. They can leave me, I'll find new ones. But there's a type of man that's the most dangerous type of man in the world, and you need to look out for them. And they are men like me, and I'm going to tell you why. Ever since I was a kid, and it starts slow, but believe me, there's a point to this. I have spent almost every day with my brother. My brother is 1 year older than me. We were poor together. We were training. We were kickboxers together. We are business. All the businesses that we own are together. He lives here in this house. We share our houses. We share our car collection. Every minute of every day, I'm with my brother. You see, a lot of men walk through this world looking for companionship, and they are the guys who can be the more committed, the more monogamous, let's say, for all intents and purposes, better boyfriends by, I guess, somebody like your standards. Whereas me, I don't need companionship. That's not what I don't have anything inside of me that wants to find another person to be around with and hang around with. If I want to go see a movie, I'll talk to Andrew. If I ever want to talk about politics, talk to Andrew. Anything I want to do, go driving, talk to Andrew. I don't need women around me. So women have become very much a hobby of mine because I enjoy female company. And I see a lot of this on Twitter and on the internet. I love women. I hate men who hate women, and I hate men who talk disrespectfully about women. You know, the guys even the guys who pretend they live like me, they don't. But the guys who pretend they live like me are like, oh, women are only good for one thing. No, they're not. Women are amazing. Women are wonderful. If you're sick, you want your fucking friends taking care of you? No, you want your woman taking care of you. You're laying in bed at night, you want to hug your friends? No, of course you don't. You want to hug your woman. Women are wonderful, but they've become very much a hobby of mine because I don't need companionship, and I'm not seeking that like a lot of people. So if you meet men like me, look for that. That, I guess, would be but it's not that there's nothing wrong with you when you feel that way when you're single. Human beings, we're social animals at the end of the day. No one is truly happy we lock people in little rooms by themselves as punishment, and there's a reason that's a punishment and not not a reward. It's we are social creatures, and it's very it's very normal to feel like you need somebody around you, and it's very normal to feel that way when you're single. But I never feel that way. So sometimes I meet women. I honest to God, I meet women who'll say stupid things to me like, "Oh, you're 30 something, and you still live with your brother." I'm like, one, I don't live with my brother. Me and my brother live together. One, two, what the fuck? Why else would I not live with? What am I gonna do? Buy a house down the street? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
That is true.
Exactly. I mean, I've got 7 bedrooms. It's not like we're fighting for space. But though, I think that this way, the European way, is superior, and I'll tell you who I learned it from. I learned it from the Pakistani community in England. There's a huge Muslim Pakistani community, especially in my hometown, and so a lot of them were my friends, my training partners, guys I knew. And one of them was a lawyer who made about £50,000 a year, not rich by any standard, but he had a Ferrari. So I remember being about 17, 18, me and my brother, we were still living together, but through necessity, because we rented one tiny apartment together. And we said to this guy, how do you have a $200,000 Ferrari when you're making £50,000 a year? And he said, well, it's very simple. We're Sikhs. No, they weren't Pakistani Muslims. Sorry, they were Sikhs from India. My bad, I remember now. But similar kind of cultural values. He said, so I'm a Sikh. So what I did was, when I got married, my wife came and moved into my house, and now we have a 12-bedroom house, and my parents still live there because it's their house, and all my brothers live together, and we pool all of our resources. And he said, you white people, he was talking about Europeans, I'm mixed race, as I said, but he said, you white people, you're crazy because if you had 5 brothers, you'd all move out of your family house and pay 5 different rents to people like me who own the property, and you divide your money and you pay 5 different sets of bills and 5 different sets of costs. So they had a Ferrari in a 12-bedroom house, and they all lived together. And I just thought, is that really so insane? I didn't think it was. And me and my brother, I wish I had more brothers, but there's only 2 of us. And in fact, my cousin lives with us now. I flew him over from California. He's an American. He lives with us now, and he works with us and works for us. And it's not necessarily, and this is going to sound very cliche, I don't have a type. Tall, short, blonde, brunette. That's what really does it for me. I like women that are pleasant to be around. So within the first 5 minutes, how often is she smiling? It's not so much about her smile, it's about her attitude, her demeanor. Does she have a screw face? Is she talking rude to the waiter? Does she say please and thank you to people? That's the first thing that I notice. Depending on what I'm looking for, I'll be perfectly honest. Sometimes I'm not looking for a relationship, in which case I don't care very much as to whether she's, polite to the waiter, because I won't see her very many times after that weekend. But it all depends on my intentions with the girl. But yeah, how pleasant is she? How happy is she? That's what I like, because I like happiness around me. I like happy, positive people around me. Yeah. I don't know. In my opinion, I think the American way is a little bit. It is too late for women. I know. I'll be perfectly honest. I think it is too late for women in the United States. I meet women here who are, I don't know, 19, 20, and I say, oh, what do you want to do with your life? And they'll say something that American women detest. They'll be like, oh, I want to get married and have children, which I think is a beautiful, wonderful goal for life for young women to want to be. If they want to get married and have a beautiful family, I don't see anything wrong with that. Whereas when I speak to people like my sister, who never left the United States, she's your age, lives in America. She's they're older than me. I'm a little bit older than you. I think she's a lawyer, actually. There are all these great, let's call them career women, who've had their careers. I saw on your Facebook you're a big fan of that Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't dislike her. Good for her. Amazing woman. Did very well. Broke a lot of glass ceiling. But anyway, my point is this. I was recently at my grandmother's birthday. She was in Alabama. She was 90 years old. This was 1 year ago. She was turning 90, so I flew all the way from Romania, changed in London to Atlanta, and I rented a car and drove all the way to some redneck town in the middle of Alabama to see my grandma. She hadn't seen me in like 10 years. So when I got there, so typically in the United States, this whole let's get married at 30 and have kids after our career, this is new. This wasn't the United States of the 1940s and 60s. It really wasn't. So my grandmother, I was standing around this room. She had 9 kids, about 30 grandkids, and another 15 great-grandkids, and 1 or 2 great-great-grandkids in this massive room full of people.
Wow.
And I was standing around, and everyone was, hugging her and telling stories about her and telling all these beautiful things. And I thought, this is, to me, that's a woman's life fulfilled, more so than a woman who, worked in this career or that career. I don't even know what job my grandma ever did. I don't even know what career she ever had, but there were no mentions of it come the end of her life when we were in that big room full of people. She was just looking around at all the life that she created, and she had the biggest smile on her face I can ever remember seeing any woman have. And I treat women very nicely, so that's a very big that's a very big compliment. So I think that this idea, certainly in the minds of Western women, and you are, for all intents and purposes, an American woman. I just don't think it's that beneficial to women or men or to anything or anybody. It does, but I don't see how a woman on her deathbed, instead of being surrounded by ghosts of herself talking nonsense, I don't understand why a woman on her deathbed surrounded by 50 people who she directly created could be upset and think, oh well, this was a poor choice. I don't understand in a million years how she could think that was a bad idea. Regardless of what career she worked or wanted to do, or what do I want out of life? I have everything that I always wanted in life, and I'm very true to myself, and I'm very honest. And because this isn't a date, I don't have to sugarcoat anything or hide anything. I think if you ask every man in the world, every single one, when we were about 10 years old or 11 years old, how do you want to live when you're in your late 20s, early 30s? Like in 20 years' time, where do you want to be? They'd all say the same thing. They'd say, I want a giant house. I want lots of pretty women. I want to drive around in fast cars. That's what they would say. Now, I find a lot of men in the positions of a lot of men who attack people like me for living my lifestyle. I find their position wholly dishonest because they've had the dream that they did have as a young boy. Every single young boy had the exact same dream. They've had this dream beaten out of them by bad relationships, lack of ambition, working their crappy job, getting fat, whatever it is they've done in their life that has shrunk the possibility of this dream happening for them. They then internalize that anger and they burst it out at people like me. Oh, Tristan, yeah, you're living such a superficial lifestyle and you shouldn't be living that way. It's like they would if they could. Yeah. So yeah, I'm one of the most fulfilled, happy people on the planet. Because, when I was, as I said, I don't come from money. Me and my brother used to live in a homeless shelter in England. Very long story, when we were very young. To come from absolutely nothing and to be living the way I live is incredible. And I wake up every day and I can't believe it. So I have everything I want from life. The only thing I want next is some children, of course. Now, I don't know whether to I know some really, really nice girls. I don't know whether to, let's call it settle down and have a bunch of kids, or I don't know if I should just have 5 or 6 different kids from 5 or 6 different women and just have 25, 30 children, an amount that most men shouldn't have in their lives, which sounds nuts. But let me stop you for a second. You are from the United States. I'm from the United States. I know the American attitude. If you had a overweight woman living on the welfare who had 5 different kids by 4 different men, and she was on some talk show, I don't know what you still have over there, Maury Povich, whatever. And she was saying, oh, it's so hard, I'm raising these kids by myself. Everyone would be clapping, saying you're such a hero. Well done to you for having all these kids with a bunch of different men. If a multi-millionaire, very successful individual, who pays for his kids, who pays his child support, who pays the private school, who looks after everyone, says, oh, I want to have, 4 or 5 different kids by, 4 or 5 different women and just have a bunch of different families because I can't have as many kids as I want with one woman, suddenly I'm a villain. I'm the worst man in the universe, and everyone will point the finger at me saying, oh, this guy's a misogynist, this guy's a pig, this guy's an animal. I don't understand why one's a hero and one's a bad guy. And I don't really care, because if I want to do it that way, I'll do it anyway. And I won't mind what society has to say.
Be honest.
Yeah, and men are animals. And the secret truth of it is, for those men who don't live honestly like me, there's a whole universe of dishonesty that women never even get to see. They may catch their guy cheating once, or they may catch their guy cheating twice, but the infrastructure and the network behind it is so crazy. So you don't know how I made my money, so I'm just going to tell the world. I made my money running what is called webcam studios. So I had hundreds and hundreds of beautiful women who worked for me, who would flirt and strip and have virtual dates with people on the internet, idiots on the internet, literally. And all of my customers are American. All of them are from Western Europe, England, Germany, America, all of them, every single one. And these people will sit on camera to a beautiful girl who isn't even naked most of the time, crying their eyes out, saying how much they hate their wife and they hate their kids and they hate their life. Now, no, I'm telling you so. Listen, at $5 a minute, they're complaining about how much they hate their wife, and they may hang up the phone at the end of the night and go upstairs and go to their sexless marriage bed. They may do that, and people will call them loyal. They'll call them monogamous and faithful. I'm sorry, that is not faithful at all. Giving away the family's money to businessmen like me to buy Lamborghinis with, when you have kids who need you, when you have a wife who needs you, that's not monogamy in the slightest. And the infrastructure behind it is crazy. So if you had a overweight woman living on the welfare who had 5 different kids by 4 different men, and she was on some talk show, I don't know what you still have over there, Maury Povich, whatever. And she was saying, oh, it's so hard, I'm raising these kids by myself. Everyone would be clapping, saying you're such a hero. Well done to you for having all these kids with a bunch of different men. If a multi-millionaire, very successful individual, who pays for his kids, who pays his child support, who pays the private school, who looks after everyone, says, oh, I want to have, 4 or 5 different kids by, 4 or 5 different women and just have a bunch of different families because I can't have as many kids as I want with one woman, suddenly I'm the worst man in the universe, and everyone will point the finger at me saying, oh, this guy's a misogynist. Okay, well, like you said about people saying this person thinks he's that, or this girl thinks she's that, I completely understand it, because what you have to understand is, in your world, my world, in all the Instagrams across the globe, there are lots of people who are, let's say, pretenders, who do try to live a certain lifestyle. I try to be very authentic. I'm not one of these people who pretends that he's a billionaire, but I do have a very nice collection of cars. I am a self-made man. I do very well for myself. And I treat Instagram and social media, and this actually gives me problems when dating and actually meeting nice girls, let's say, as in the 1600s, when a king used to paint a portrait of himself, he wouldn't just paint a picture of his face. He'd paint a Bible into his hand to show that he was pious, or paint a hammer into his hand to show that he was tough on justice. That's how I see Instagram and social media these days. You could show your real self, but only the parts of yourself that you wish to display to the world. So it does sometimes give off this playboy, daddy's money kind of